Hey guys, we'll get started in just a moment. AR, why don't you try talking?
This would be a great time for a spit take, but I already swallowed my water, so.
Yeah, we all had the spit take a minute ago. Dev, why don't you try talking for a moment?
I am exhausted beyond the capacity for rational thought, but I'm here, so it's good enough, I guess.
Okay, we
That's a
will.
great Ghostbusters nod right there.
Uh,
That's an underrated Ghostbusters line.
It's
Ghostbusters has a
good.
lot of underrated lines, just because so
It
many lines
does.
in that movie are so obvious that.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see. Okay,
Boop.
that looks fine. Let me close this window. Okay, you guys ready to go?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
Welcome to the podcast. We're here to entertain and inform a bit while talking about Digimon. I'm Mark, a run with the will.
I'm AR Pulver, and yes, I will find a way to get mad about this episode, even though I liked it.
I'm DevQ, and I need to do some cleanup on Wikimon.
Yes, you do. It's been the long. It's we keep saying it's been a long week, but it really has been a long week every week this year so far, hasn't it?
I mean, it's only been 3 weeks, so.
Yeah,
I mean, this has not been the longest week of the year, to be fair.
it's been 3 weeks in actual time. In dealing with reality time, it's closer to 5 or 6 months
It's still an improvement over 2020.
so far.
At least this
Not
week.
by much.
Past weeks, not as much, but
Yeah, so
this
far.
week was better.
Yeah. How has
Ish.
everyone's week been?
Decent, I guess. I've been doing a lot of maintenance on my computer systems and trying to do backups, and my own categorizing system is driving me out of my mind.
Yes,
Mike,
I believe I woke up to a message from Dev saying, I upgraded my operating system today. I'm just like, why would you do this hours before bed?
Well, to be fair, I mean, I do the podcast on my tablet because that's the only thing I can plug headphones into.
True. I think you were going to say something, AR?
oh, I was gonna say my kid's going back to in-person school this week, so that's a relief.
Uh, I really don't miss school. Tons of people go, oh, I miss going to school. And
I don't
no,
miss school either. That's why I'm glad I don't have to
deal.
teach my kid
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah, that makes
I
sense.
only miss having lunch with my friends in the cafeteria, but that's about it.
Well, you're an adult. You can do that now.
I actually can't because there's a pandemic.
True. And then we have the new episode to talk about, Soaring Hope, episode 32. And AR has problems this week because there's very little for him to actively complain about without coming across as just the Grinch.
That's about what it amounts to. Yeah, this was a much improved episode.
Yes.
We'll put it that way. It's straddling the line between acceptable and good. I'll
Yes.
say that.
Yeah.
It had additional puppies, so I'm all for this episode.
It had people
Is
sitting
that
around and talking.
it did have some people sitting around and talking.
Yes.
One of them was Patamon, which was an interesting look, but hey, we'll take it.
And one of them was Lopmon, which I think someone asked us that last week. Hey, do you think Lopmon will ever show up again? And we kind of went, well, at some point she has to, I think. And then Lopmon just popped up this week doing the Zen Yoda thing.
At least none
She
of us
just
said
straight went
no.
Jedi.
Yeah. Yeah. So it is nice of them to deal with the. I don't want to say it wasn't a like Patamon is acting funky arc, because it wasn't, but it was a something was clearly wrong beyond just tired. and it was dealt with really well. I'm actually quite happy how it was dealt with.
It
So
was sort of, well, I don't know if I was necessarily satisfied with how it was dealt with. I'm glad that they dealt with it. I'm glad that they explored it. I'm glad that Patamon kind of dove into his subconscious a little bit and had to hear something to, cheer himself back up and get back into a position to evolve. I'm not entirely sure about the mechanics of why this is happening, but the fact that it is happening and the fact that he had to get around it, yes, absolutely thumbs
yeah,
up.
and
I like that he sits like people.
and everyone is still quite excited about Commando-mon in general, and Commando-mon was actually used really well in the episode, I thought, because it's funny, minus the beginning where they rescue Takaru and Patamon.
Yes,
No,
Sora
no
just
one.
sticking her arms out
Yeah, none of the
through
kids
his fur.
actually are really off Commandamon minus one thing at the end, and it was just kind of neat to have a chase episode where it wasn't just them kind of running in place, like it was an
Hey,
actual
chase.
yeah, it was an actual
It's a
chase.
it's a bunch of puppers chasing another puppers. It was
Yeah.
great.
Did I have to say, did anyone else like when he did the drift stop before turning around? Yeah.
As
Um.
I have dogs and laminate floors, and that actually does happen on a
As it
daily
does.
basis.
Yeah. And we get to see the inside of Commandamon a bit, and it's a couch. Not a couch. It's like the round corner seat at a restaurant.
I didn't even consider that Commandomon could be something you could go inside, and I'm still not exactly sure how they go in and out, but
No, there's a door.
hey, there's a door.
It's in the first art. It's in the first art we saw of him from the back.
It is,
There's
okay.
there's an actual
Okay.
door with a like a submarine style wheel that you have to.
This season this season that's a hatch
And
that you're
Yes,
going
apparently it
for.
has 8 legs, so
yes,
Yeah, yeah. They
yeah,
really
something
like the
is
Digimon you can go inside this season.
yeah. But yeah, it was still amusing that he is showing personality. There's no talking, but it's yeah. Um,
It was a personality of a friend.
yes. So we get the nice chase with, and people seemed very excited to see Fangmon in a role that
I
it's a
don't
really
uh,
fun design, and
it
we don't
it's
get to
an
see
is.
it that often, so
it's an interesting
or at
design, but
all.
it's really a role that almost any wolf or dog type Digimon could have had. But nice to see regardless.
It's in keeping, yeah, it's in keeping
Yeah,
with the puppers theme. I
yeah.
like it.
So the main focus of this episode is Patamon's out of commission. Takaru is Takaru, and we deal with some of the stuff that's been going on with Patamon since basically when he was introduced to a degree. Um, Patamon no Evolvi, and Lopmon contacts him, and we get the sort of, I don't want to call it null space. I can't figure out what to call it.
I'm going subconscious.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
I'll go with
Yeah,
this is happening
and
inside Patamon's head.
yeah, and it's
Jedi
basic.
projection.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's basically framed as basically the strain of having held up the world and done everything for. I believe have they actually said how long it's been, or just generically thousands of years?
It's just been ancient times.
Yeah, where the strain of that, the strain of dying, forcing himself to evolve so quickly, fighting Dark Knightmon, and basically using all of his energy to blow everyone away. Basically, he just can't do that again.
Right, which
Yeah.
is where I have the kind of the issues. Like I like the idea of it. I just wish they'd kind of gone into detail on why this is the moment where it's like, okay, now you can't do it anymore
Well,
after he's done it twice already this
Burnout.
season.
well, no.
Yeah,
See, I
it's
think twice.
well, yeah, he did it before he died and he did it after he died.
No, that's what I'm saying. He only done it once since he came back, and that was pretty quickly after he came back. I saw it
Which
as forcing himself to do more than he should have when he was new.
Yeah, which is fine if they would have explained it like that. And
Yeah.
that's not I don't think they were clear about that.
But what I mean is he wasn't really Angemon. He'd never really evolved to Angemon before he died, is what I mean. He just was Angemon.
Oh yeah, that's fair, but
Yeah. Basically, the first time he did it, when he was reborn,
yeah,
he
that's right. He
basically.
was just Angemon. But even then, yeah, he was Angemon, and then he came back.
Yeah.
And he came back gradually. Like
Yeah.
he hatched and he went through the proper channels.
But
He
even
went through
then,
the proper process.
that was just a few days, though, basically.
It was, but it was,
I saw it
Chug
as.
those rare candies.
there's no milepost for us to know that
No,
was too
but
fast, and
But I
that's
feel,
what my
like
issue was.
overall, what Lopmon said made sense in the fact that it was basically the strain of everything from beginning to end.
Yeah, it's a little that's a little weak for me just
Mm,
because it's not like there's no indication of why that should have been the moment where it all collapsed and he can't do it anymore. And what's going to make or break that whole thing is how he eventually gets around that and gets back to Angemon.
well, that's also the truth. Is it's basically a cheat to avoid what Adventure did last time, which is to just try to avoid using Angemon whenever possible.
Right, but you still need to have some sort of a
But here
logic
that, but
behind that
I think the
mechanic.
logic given was good enough, though, in the sense of we got to see what had happened to Angemon, how long Angemon had been around doing stuff, and just pushing it once too far, and then Patamon has to deal with that.
Yeah, and
Angemon made too many care mistakes.
Yeah.
it's really the how why is this the ones too far that bugs me. And
Mm,
how they get back to like when Patamon evolves to Angemon next time, the process of how that happens is kind of going to make or break this whole mechanic for me.
I can understand that. And then we get to see him pseudo flashback to thinking of when he was Seraphimon, Holy Angemon, and not quite clarification of Black Seraphimon. To me, it came across as he was more thinking what would happen if he was dropped in the gunk. But it felt like that was more not quite clarifying what he was saying, at least to me,
Like falling into despair.
Yes, but
basically.
that's the good kind of vague. Like you can kind of go in a few different directions with that, and
Yeah.
there's potential down the road in there. I'm fine with all that.
Yeah. And Sora gets whacked.
Sora, someone gets whacked. I'm
Yeah.
glad somebody got whacked. Although it
Uh,
is strange that Sora got it twice, but like Sora got whacked back in Joe's episode.
And then we get to see them protecting her, and then Patamon evolves into Pegasmon. And then we get to see, this is one of those examples where you can really see, trying to think the phrasing I want to use here, just how many people pay attention to Digimon without like paying attention to the minutia. The number of people who were super confused about did Takaru have the Digimental, and if not, what really people seemed
No,
very
I
confused at that idea. Like a
uh,
lot of people seemed confused at the very
people
idea that such a thing was
people
possible.
people thought he actually had that wasn't just an alternate evolution.
Yeah,
It's like,
or
Like
even
Digimon as a franchise is all about branching
yeah, or
evolutions.
even the
yeah,
idea that, well, that's the funny part is we saw it in the original adventure before we saw Metal Greymon. I mean, that was
Yeah,
the
because we
whole
had
thing with
Skull
Skull
Greymon.
Greymon. Yeah, but yeah, it really is the type of thing to remind you. Oh yeah, there's a lot of people who pay attention to Digimon who aren't like daily checking in on stuff. And Pegasmon's very, very large, isn't he?
The consistency of size just doesn't exist.
No, I have no issue with it not being consistent with other versions of Pegasmon. I was just commenting that he's very
I mean, like
large.
in the like even in the episode, like when they're standing next to each other
Mm,
versus when
I was
Takaru's on his
mostly
back,
fine with it.
like
oh,
Yeah.
he's
Very,
not
very,
big. He's not big compared to Saberumon, and that was
yeah,
the important part for me.
yeah, very nice dynamic introduction for him that worked well. Had him be strong, but not punching above his weight, I thought.
I loved that. That
Yeah.
was fantastic. That I was really afraid of that when I saw that Pegasusmon was showing up. Was
Yeah,
like,
I was
oh, is he?
wondering that.
It's like, okay, I can picture the situation where somehow um Metal Greymon and Garudamon are going to be knocked out of commission, and they're going to leave it to Pegasusmon to
Yeah.
somehow save them. And I was not exactly sure how they were going to do that.
They did that
And
super well.
they did that super well. Yeah,
Yeah,
they did
we
it
get
exactly the right way. It's like they just kind of had them fend off the enemy until the
yeah.
actual strong Digimon could get back into the fight.
The actual visual for that from beginning to end worked really well for me, where we get him going for a really hard hit. It hits Rubamon, it hurts him bad, and then he's just pissed. Because it hurts him bad, but it doesn't do anything that would actually take him down. And
Mhm.
I
then
like when Pegasusmon just like donkey kicked the
Yep.
Fangmon right in the
And
face.
then Metal Greymon and Garudamon get hit with the actual fatal blow, and they let Pegasusmon get in one last hit to make it look like they weren't kill stealing.
yeah. And yeah, it was a very good end to that fight.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
We still have
They
to make
shared
fun
the
of the
equity.
we still have to make fun of that spin attack while Takeru was on board. Like that was kind of ridiculous.
Well,
Except Tucker just puke his guts up
I
afterwards.
wanted to see that. I wanted to see him like react to that somehow.
I can't react to that too much because I saw way too many generically done Sonic the Hedgehog jokes immediately after.
You don't have to do a Sonic the Hedgehog joke.
Oh no, I'm
Sonic
saying you
usually
don't.
doesn't have somebody mounting. He's not usually mounted by somebody when he's doing his thing.
Yeah, I'm just saying I saw too many of them for it to be as amusing as it could have been. And we
Just
should
because it's ruined by Sonic memes doesn't mean you can't enjoy the ridiculousness of that.
true. And then we got small check-ins with everyone this week, more or less. Yamato's running across a field.
Yamato's really boring.
See,
I think I
he's
don't think
boring.
I don't think that's news, but like ever since the real world mini arc, I think Yamato has just been completely neutered as a character. Like everything that was interesting about him in the first part of the show has just disappeared completely, and he's just regular, boring, supportive big brother, and that's no fun.
I like
So
the
I was kind of hoping for him and Taichi just punch the ever living shit out of each other once or twice, but
I mean, you can watch Adventure for that, is the thing.
yeah, but I
We
wanted to
are
watch it with
watching
like slightly better
Adventure.
graphics.
Like
I
this is Adventure.
I
This should
don't
be
I
part of the
don't need
package.
I don't need the retread. I'm perfectly happy if it shows up, but I'm not super worried if it doesn't.
I'm
I
not saying that this is the moment for that, but
Oh, I'm not saying I don't
I
expect
just
it to
wish.
happen. I'm just saying it's not going to happen when Yamato's not there.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying Yamato should at least be just a little apprehensive about the whole idea.
See,
That's all I want.
I kind of like that he wasn't, where it was sort of there's nothing he can really do. Takeru's with people he theoretically trusts, and it was sort of just
But
not
that's
blasé, but
rational.
but
That's thinking
I
rationally, and
like
that's
the
not
idea that he has to.
what I want.
I
That's not
like
what I want from Yamato.
I like that he has to think rationally, where Takeru is theoretically safe for the moment. He's in theory heading their way, and what is him yelling over the not cell phone going to do? At least when he was freaking out
I'm not
before, he
saying
had
yelling. I
reasons.
just want him to be kind of silently apprehensive and kind of antsy about it. Like he can be all nice to Taichi in that particular spot, but I just want him to have that moment of pause
And
where he goes,
Joe,
okay, where he has to realize it for himself, and then be rational and say, okay, fine, yeah, you take care of him.
then we have Joe still having problems at the hot spring.
I liked it better when it was just him and the
Yeah,
nanny, the
it's less
Nanimon. The
yeah,
Blossomon's like, oh, now there's an enemy. That's no fun.
it feels like it's back to Joe being the butt rather than an amusing thing that's happening to him.
Yeah.
And then Mimi is running a fight club apparently.
Okay. I would like to see more of this.
Yeah, I like they don't really hang with them enough to go. This is not an actual fight as far as I can tell.
It's
It is Fight Club.
she's probably defending the area, it's all defending all those Gatsumon from the Golemon,
Well, that's
but
the thing is
it sure looks like Fight Club.
it didn't seem like it was defending. It seemed like they were having fun.
They were
Like
having a boxing match.
yeah,
I
that's what
couldn't
it seemed like. It seemed like they
well,
were
it's
fighting.
Mimi was enjoying herself, and Togemon was probably enjoying the action.
Yeah,
It comes down to how do the Gatsumon feel, and I really couldn't gauge anything from that.
yeah. But yeah, and Koshiro's talking about things falling still.
Yeah, Koshiro's I think he's becoming more of an ass actually. It's like, "Oh no, other people have found out what's happening. That's a disaster."
Well, no, it is because then you have people freaking out and doing stupid stuff. Was what I took it to mean.
That's what you
The
take it
idea.
yes, that's what Koshiro's immediate response is, and, you know, that part of it is concerning to them, but having other people knowing about it is not a bad thing because other people should have the capacity to do something about it as well.
Well, no,
The
remember we
idea
don't.
that the
No,
idea
no,
that
no. So
Koshiro is the only
you
one who
forgot
can
something. The space agencies already knew. He mentioned that an episode or two ago.
did they? Did he?
I believe
And
they. I could be wrong, but I believe that the people who actually could do anything were already aware, as far as I remember, that something was wrong.
I know he knew they said that they knew that the satellites were out of alignment. I don't think
Yeah,
he commented on whether they knew that they were all heading for a specific direction
yeah. But
and
here he was
going to
talking
collide with
about
the
the public
ISS.
knowing, though,
Yeah. Well,
and
either way,
that doesn't help at all. The public
someone
know.
else can like I just let someone else do the hacking work. Let
Well, to be
Koshiro
fair,
do
He has
actual
nothing
chosen
else
work.
to do when he's riding on Kabuterimon.
I mean, it looked like there was a pretty intense situation going on with the Decker Dramon and whoever else was in there.
Yeah,
Pew
Tankmon.
pew.
yeah.
Like there was they were in the middle of a situation. I couldn't tell what was going on with that situation, but it looked tense.
Yeah. And next episode, we deal with the Hikari stuff.
Yay?
Yeah, it's one of those things where I want to say yay, but when important things have come up before, we've seen this show trip right into a wall.
I'm glad they're finally getting to it. I'm not necessarily crazy about the direction they're going or they're going to go with it, but I'm glad they're finally going to get it over with.
Yeah, I'll wait to judge until we actually see what's happening.
They pulled off the Pegasmon thing better than I thought they would, so
Yeah.
we'll see.
Now the only question is how long until we get the 16 products with everyone and it's Pegasmon instead of Angemon? Or do you think the power of Angemon as a sales force keeps it as Angemon even when he's not showing up in the show?
Power of Angemon.
Uh,
Angemon wins over Pegasmon every time. Like
I,
Pegasmon can get something on the side, but he won't never be part of the full set.
I think we'll get at least one thing where it's all of them and it's Pegasmon. Or it will be Pegasmon and Angemon on the same thing together, or something like that.
I
I
can
think it'd
see
probably be
that.
like both of them because
Yeah, I can see
honestly,
definitely something
Angemon
with
is fan service.
well, so's Pegasmon, to be
Yeah.
honest, just less so. I can definitely see something with Pegasmon and Angemon. As far as the whole group as a whole goes, I think that depends on if anyone else gets alternate evolutions, which I kind of hope they do.
And it also
I,
depends on if we ever see Pegasmon ever again. It could literally
that's
be
another thing.
it could
This is
literally be Tailmon shows up, she evolves into Angelmon, and somehow fixes Patamon.
which well, if she somehow fixes
Snip,
Patamon,
snip.
that's okay because that implies that there is an actual fix to be had there, which is important to me. I do want to see Pegasmon like once or twice though before Angemon comes back though. That's also important.
Okay, fair enough. So, AR, what beloved grade do you give your new favorite episode of the show?
Oh, this was a all the way up to B plus.
Didn't one you hated a week or two ago you gave a B- to?
I wouldn't say I hated it, but
I'm pretty sure
no,
there
a
was one that
couple.
you really didn't like and you gave it like a B-.
I wouldn't. Yeah, and it wasn't. That was more. That might have been a more personal hate, but the things they accomplished in that episode was like, okay, I suppose they accomplished just enough for me to give it a begrudging B minus. Because what an episode accomplishes counts for part of the grade too.
Fair enough. The points are kind of useless anyways.
It's funny you mentioned that because when I first started the blog all the way back 10 years ago, I was like at the very, very end of writing the first review, it's like, you know what? It'd be cool to give these a grade. I originally didn't even consider the idea.
Now we just need to get you a card so you look like Drew Carey when you give out the grades.
That's an interesting reference. Okay.
Yeah. And then we have cards to talk about. We are now in the mass of Booster Set 5 Battle of Omega previews, and Matt, there's already been some crazy interesting ones. So we got the early one of Chaos Dukemon. Chaos Dukemon was the first that we got a bit early.
And
think.
it was gorgeous.
I've gotten mixed up on what was first or not. It was it wasn't Chaos Dukemon. It was one like a week and a half. I don't remember who it was. But so we have
It
Chaos
doesn't matter.
Dukemon
We have
from
Chaos
Card
Duke
Battle.
on now, and he's
Yeah.
very sparkly. I like it.
The first formal preview was the packaging, which multiple people were like, "Oh, Omegamon, that's a surprise." It's like it's called Battle of Omega. If you didn't see
What do you-
Omegamon, if you did not see that Omegamon was going to be on the cover of the one that they named after Omegamon, we can't help you.
Battle of Omegamon, featuring on the cover Deltamon.
Yes. We got some really nice looking Agumon, Greymon, Gabumon, and Groomon cards. I mean, really nice looking ones. Maybe the best looking ones of them so far. I don't know why the Agumon one especially I just really like.
Just
we
so
got
energetic.
we got a trio of Starmons, which everyone was super happy to see, especially since the one is explicitly Starmon with the Pikmons with the S at the end, which and I like how it's them on the dance floor, which is just amusing.
It's not even with the S on the end; it's with the Z.
It spells either way. Though it is
No,
fun.
it is a Z. I'm looking at the card right now. That is a Z instead of an S.
And then we got to see art of the mode changes from the show, which no surprise that they're going to show up. And then did someone ask us what we wanted to see last week, and I went with like the joke answer, or that was like a week or two ago, I think, where someone asked what card we want to see, and I said Terriermon Joshua as the gag answer, and Terriermon Joshua appears in
You have summoned it.
amazing artwork on this one. Him tripping and falling over, and Agumon Hakase just with that look of, here we go again.
That assistant of mine.
Yeah, and then we have fake Agumon Hakase and artwork based on the Agumon Hakase card, which is amusing. Yeah, and then we get two characters from Cyber Sleuth. I don't know how I feel about the game characters using their profile art because it makes sense, but it also feels very bland, sort of, at least to
It's
me.
like, it's like I would have liked to see something new.
Well, I think here's the problem. One, the characters don't show up so little that you want to make sure they're super recognizable. Two, the artwork of all the game characters so far has been from one of the better regarded manga, anime type artists there is. So you don't want to attempt to upstage what people want, which is his art.
That's fair, but I was going to say, as far as making them recognizable, I don't think you can have Nokia's outfit not be recognizable.
No. My favorite part, and I didn't, is if you push the site to mobile mode, where it decides to crop the card when it's in single width mode makes me
Oh
laugh every
no.
single time. Is if you push the front page of WtW to single card width, you can imagine exactly where it decides to crop the image to.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then we've been getting English card previews. Nothing we haven't seen before. The tournament pack and Tamer Battle Pack are. I don't believe anyone get. I believe literally everyone on the planet went. These are the exact cards we're gonna get for this, and nothing has been surprisingly different. Like I think this was the guess from everybody. Fun Digica did a custom deck battle, which was neat. Card battle continued their team competition, and we got a cameo from everyone's favorite card battle character, the horrible Andromon made from cardboard and duct tape, which every time I see that, I just laugh, to be honest. And then earlier today, card game delays, which shocking no one.
Well, didn't they already say that
I'm
there would be delays?
I'm
Yeah,
sure
but
I'm sure people complained about it
yep.
anyway.
Yeah, but this is more specific. The Booster 1.0 will have its date changed to February 12th. Starter decks will show up mid-February. They're not giving a date. Europe will have stock showing up at the end. They say it won't arrive until January 25th, but they don't actually give a date of when stuff will happen. And 1.5, they're just moving to March 12th, which makes sense. Just move it and don't screw around. And then they put up a questionnaire regarding the English version of Fun Digic with some good questions about like what they should do with it. One of them they specifically want to know was, would you like Fun the Japanese version of Fun Digica to just have English subtitles as an option? And
Hmm.
considering how much people like watching that even when they don't understand it, because just watching the card battles and stuff, I would love those to have subtitles. It makes sense. It's the same game. There is no functional difference like there has been in the past. Throw subtitles on it, and that makes an easy promotional thing and cheap too. So, yeah. And shocking no one, Commandomon. We got his reference book update, and is everyone just how shocked are you that he's the mysterious adult form on the Pendulum Z2 Metal Empire?
He's a good puppy.
It literally the instant everyone found out about him, everyone was like, "Yeah, he's gonna be
Yeah.
he's gonna be that question mark," and he
That
is.
roster is improved instantly with his presence.
Yes. Now, here's the only thing that saddens me, that because the trains are there, we can already kind of guess the path. When I would much rather see something like Commandomon. Actually, I don't really like any of those for evolutions for Commandomon. None of them feel quite right to me. Now
He
that I
should never
look into the
evolve. He
details,
should stay as a good puppy.
they've
What if
done.
he just evolved into like a bigger, fluffier puppy?
Well, there is the second one on the art.
Just go straight to Vikemon.
Yeah, and then we have Pole.
Or like Saint Galgomon.
That's fair. There you go.
So it feels like there isn't much to talk about this poll because I believe everyone on the planet guessed that Pulse Link was going to completely dominate everything.
Yeah.
Pulse Link wins if you combine Applog Link and Touch Link still. So
Yeah. I honestly think 54% is low
yeah,
for
so
Pulse Link. It
but
should be
here,
high. It should
see,
be higher.
I think some people are interested in the app stuff and random battles by touching your watch to crap. Like I can see why.
Interested in sure, but favorite.
Yeah. Well, that does kind of bring up the interesting part in that I wonder if you could rank if you were or weren't interested in stuff. I wonder how many people aren't really interested in actually training and evolving a Digimon and just want like a Digimon toy.
Well, I think that we talked about that when the poll was out. Like, we have Digimon toys.
No, but yeah, I know, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Is I wonder how many people who are actually buying this who have no interest in VPET related stuff at all, and it's just toy.
Right. I
So
I
it'd
don't
be interesting.
I don't feel for them. So
No, I don't either.
yeah.
And then they updated the history of LCD toy pages with the last few bits of stuff that have shown up. Not really that shocking, although I believe they missed one. They don't have the CSA Kazuna one, I think, if I remember correctly. And now I'm actually scrolling through the page trying. Yeah, they missed that one. Oh well.
Bastards.
Yeah, it happens. It's one of those things where 6 months from now they'll update it with a quick message and social art of someone falling. Probably. Then we got a Monmon memo detailing various training updates for the Vital Bracelet, plus reference book updates for four of the evolutions of Pulsemon. And
The
they've
art
also
for this is really nice.
I did not hear that.
The art for this is really nice, and also
Yeah.
my dogs
No,
are barking.
I don't think it was noise in the background. I think I just didn't hear. And it appears you can stop them from evolving to if you want to try to move what you're doing to the path of a different one. It appears based on what they've said. So you can cancel and then it'll try to evolve again later. So you can try to get it in line with what you're trying to get since the evolution paths are based on your own actions. So I kind of like that you can try to force it. You can't force it to evolve, but you can delay it to try to get what you want. I kind of like that since these take a bit more effort. So
Yeah, it's
yeah,
not
So if
like you're just like clicking a button. You're actually having to move around, and
yeah,
depending on someone's schedule, they might not have the
yeah.
level of activity needed for one in a given period of time.
yeah.
Or if you are active and you really want Namakemon,
Well, just take the watch off and leave it in a drawer and come back in a day or two, and he'll be there.
I
And
kind
then
of want Namakemon. He looks fun.
yeah, yeah, and then the Imperial Dramon model kit's out in about a week and a half. We have final images of the colors and the box art. The colors feel slightly. Trying to think of it. It's slightly more crisp than the early images we saw, and it feels better colors overall. Especially, I want to say the gold and the blue isn't quite as bright, and I think that works for Imperial Dramon. I'm still very disappointed by. I'm glad the dragon form is there, but it looks so sad next to an attempt was made. Yeah, and
They
that's out.
tried, and that's what matters.
Yeah, and that's out later this month. And then we get Chiaka Kanaka's Twitter suspended. We don't know why. This is only mentioned because so many people sent this in. I probably went, well, I guess I should put something up. I would assume it probably got hacked and then it got locked. That'd be my guess. Um, and then at the meeting cafe, they're bringing back the Adventure Try Kazuna postcards for people who buy CDs. I still like these, to be honest. I mean,
Mm,
the Digimon are boring as hell on these images because it's just the same minus Agumon's eating more of the donut. But I like that like all three groups really do look like they're pulled out of their respective stuff. Like even the color differences,
hmm
it just works well for me. And then we finally get to see the manhwa everyone's been waiting for. And I want to say me and Dev guessed that it might be this. It's a cinecomic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think AR went, I'm going to be positive. It's going to be an actual comic.
I'm like, nah,
No,
nah.
see, I was hoping it would be, but it felt like they weren't showing. You would show a bit of art or something, and yeah,
It's like, no,
No,
that looks like a clip art from the front of the on the front of the magazine. Just looks like it's taken right from the show, and lo and behold.
yeah, yeah.
yeah, tis
I
sad.
remember. I remember that episode. That was when we liked the show. I
I
remember
mean, I
those
still
days.
like the show, but I have no standards.
be fair, I don't think any. We all have standards. We just ignore them most of the time.
I mean,
I
mine
mean,
is
we
like
are
he sits like people and look good puppies.
we are
Yeah.
yeah.
And then
We'll throw our standards away for Komondomon.
yeah, and then in art,
Commandomon is the new standard.
Digimon Web put up social art of Pegasmon, which looked really nice. And Kenji Watanabe once again just. It's hard to have stuff to say about his art week after week.
It looks like a magical girl transformation.
Yeah,
Does. That's a
very
very
close to that.
useful, very good way to illustrate those ears.
Yeah. And I even like the Angemon feathers flying around,
Mm-hmm.
kind of adding to that a bit more. And then we have questions. So those in the chat can start while we go through. Someone wanted to know, why hasn't anything been announced for Break the Chain? Takayoshi actually said it'd be a while before anything with that came up. My guess would be he's doing more songs for the show, and they're going to do what they did with the opening CD, which is, well, I expect it's a second opening, and it's just going to be on that CD like they did last time.
Also, it felt like the last couple of songs came out like freakishly fast.
Well, no, they were
compared to
on
the
the
way
opening
they.
CD.
Oh
It's
yeah,
it's the same
yeah.
CD. So, and none of those songs showed up in the show before the hiatus.
Mm-hmm.
So we ended up waiting months, and then the songs popped up, and then bam, bam.
Yeah. So this is
Yeah,
after hiatus, so
yeah. So basically,
not Bam Bam.
yeah, basically I would expect him to show up for another opening, and then there's going to be probably one more insert for something, and then we'll get a CD. So we'll
I hope
see
there's
how
like a
that
full
works out.
version soon, just because I happen to really like that one.
It really is a good song. It feels like people have. It's only been in the show twice so far, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I
It
need
feels
to
like
I need to experience it again to really comment on it. Like it
it
was a good I remember I really enjoyed it, but
yeah.
I've already forgotten what it sounds like
It
because it
feels
wasn't
like
in
people
last
it
week's.
feels like people have connected to this one much more quickly than the other two inserts, I would say at least.
Be
And
the
then
Winners is still a
yeah.
jam.
And then I don't know if this is kind of a follow-up to last time, but I don't know it wasn't
Yeah, this is
it wasn't
follow up.
tagged in any way for me to know if it's the same person or not though. Cuz the person last time like gave us a show to bounce off of, a couple shows actually. So
Oh,
it
you
doesn't
don't know
feel
if it's
like
the
it's the
same
same person
person.
to me because the
It's
other person
definitely
was
a
mentioning so.
follow up on the discussion
Yes.
from last week, but
So, someone wants to know, after you talked about harem anime last time, I wondered which are worth watching. It isn't a type of show I've ever searched out. I feel like we almost only talked
You
about
know what?
harem
I
stuff last time.
super have to recommend a bunch.
Go
I
ahead.
mean, because Mark's just gonna say Tenchi, but you go
I
ahead.
think
No, I
Tenchi's
was not.
good.
I did Tenchi last week. I would not cheat like that.
Tenchi is good. I'm
Tenchi's
just
great.
saying. Yeah.
Go ahead, Dev.
My next life is a villainess.
But
Ooh,
no,
I've heard
that's
good things
cheating
about
because you
that
said
one.
that last week.
How's it cheating? It's still a harem anime and it's still fantastic.
If it said that I'm gonna cheat by saying the same one, then no one else is allowed to do that either.
Yeah, that's fair because I think when
Well, it's
because
older, but
well
I
we
barely remember it, but I remember really liking Mabarajo.
Okay, which one is that?
I keep getting confused. There's another one with like the exact same
Yeah,
title,
yeah.
and that
I literally
and
had
I
to
can
tweet
guarantee
regarding that.
it was the other one that I got a DVD of it from some event and I watched it and it was like this is crap. And I always get it confused with Mabarajo, which isn't fair to Mabarajo.
Yeah, yeah. This is why I'm scrolling back because this
It's like
literally came up.
Maharagi or something. This is the one I was thinking of, but
No,
yeah, Mabarajo.
I literally had to tweet that there was a difference between those two a few weeks, like in December.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah,
I actually had to tweet there was a difference between that because
I like that we
Discotek
completely
licensed
hijacked.
one of them.
We completely hijacked Dev's answer with talking about some crap anime with a similar title. Go ahead, Dev.
Well, because we're trying to figure
I
out
don't
which one
remember
she's
because it's like
talking
literally
about.
been years.
Yeah.
I think it's the one where it's like, god damn it, my brain
Okay,
is just
Dev,
like trying.
I just put the image in the podcast chat. Dev, which one of these anime are you talking about?
The one on the right.
Okay, you're Mabaraho. That's the one where the kid has magic power, and all the girls want to have his baby to get the magic power.
Oh no. Okay, that is the
And they
crap
keep
one
I
that I
think someone
got.
keeps
Yes,
bludgeoning him to death.
yes, that is the crap one. And
Yeah, that is the
yeah,
crap one. Okay,
yes,
I feel better now.
yeah. I had to pull it up because honestly, I don't remember. I literally don't remember which name is which. Because one's Mabaraho, the other's Maharaba, I think. And then there's one or two other shows
Yeah,
with similar names.
like
Okay, so
Maharagi or something, but
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so Dev, what were
Magic
the other ones you
related
want to bring?
name.
Because we got confused. What was the other ones you want to talk about?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I can't pick Tenchi or Ayori Aoshi because I did those last time.
Well, because like I'm looking over at my bookshelf, but thing is like I put a lot of my DVDs into the other room closet bookshelf thing just so I have room to shove more plushies.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I haven't been into harem anime in a long time. So I'm trying to think if I've seen anything that I actually would recommend after Love Hina. Because the original Love Hina season was really good. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's one of those where it seems like everyone did enjoy it and then became embarrassed they enjoyed it later. I still
Well,
enjoyed it.
that's part of that is some of the stuff that came after it. Like the follow up to the original season of Love Hina, like those were really bad. So that might have something to do
No,
with
the
it.
Christmas one was great.
The Christmas one was really, yeah, the
The
Christmas one
Christmas
was
one was
fantastic.
amazing. Yeah.
The Christmas one was fantastic. The follow up OAV I hated.
Yeah, Love Hannah again is not one of the more beloved parts of that
Oh yeah.
franchise.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
always
I
like.
remembered one that I really loved.
Go ahead.
Vandred.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
like.
Vandred was good.
I remember Vandrit more in concept than in actually watching it. Like I remember it, but not really.
And the second season got kind of stale, but the first season was really good. The first
Well,
season
I
of
watched
Vandred
it
was
all
really,
at one time, so
yeah. Well, it's also
like I had like a recommended to me, and then I just happened to pick up like a box set. So
it's a mecha, it's a harem mecha that doesn't skimp on either. And that's what's really cool about it. Like it doesn't like gravitate towards one side or the other like you usually see with harem mecha shows.
Yeah.
It really
like a
gives
lot
you
of
enough
really
of
good world building.
it gives you enough of both. Yeah, the world building is great. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
Vandred's a good call.
I'm gonna go for a weird one. Sedokai Yakuindomo. Uh, guy chooses his
Not
school.
familiar.
It wouldn't shock. A guy is going to high school and he chooses his high school based on the one that's laziest for him to get to. When he gets there, he finds out that it only just became a co-ed school, and then he gets dragged into being in the student council, and he realizes everyone there's psychotic, and there's no way for him to get out. So it's harem in the sense that he's surrounded by girls who do like him, but he doesn't really want to be involved with them. Like it's not like he's blind to it. He's just like everyone here is crazy and perverted, and I don't want to be involved with this. And just gets dragged around on comedic adventures, where on a few times they suggest they're going to kill him.
That sounds fun.
Nice. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's very fun, and I believe the second movie just came out in theaters in Japan after being delayed due to COVID. Yeah.
I might check that out
Oh,
because I need stuff to watch.
it is almost all slapstick, like in insane amounts of comedy, and it really is funny. Calling it
Hey,
a
so it's
harem
basically right up my alley.
might be a little bit of cheating, but it fits in the sense that most of the girls do clearly like him, so I feel like it fits. But it's different enough. It's basically Azumanga Daioh if it was perverted, basically. So I feel like that
Slapstick and
fits in enough.
violence. I am
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, that
Okay.
sounds fair. That sounds
Yeah.
good.
And then Ramon wants to know, are we fine waiting a few more weeks for the card game to arrive from its delay? I don't think any of us were really rushing out to buy them, to be honest.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm buying it when I happen to be in a store and see it at the counter.
Yeah, it's one of those
That's
things where
when I'm going to buy it.
yeah, it's one of those things where people who collect card games are gonna hate that I'm gonna say this. It's one of those things where if I came across a card that I wanted, I would buy it if it wasn't that much. Like I want the Joshu card. I wouldn't mind getting a few cards, putting them on, putting them on a frame thing and hanging it up. That's a card I
Yeah,
would want.
yeah. There are specific cards that I want, but as far as getting the whole set, like
No,
whenever it happens, it doesn't matter that
no.
much to me.
Yeah, it's basically how I treat like Pokemon cards now that I don't have time or money to play, where it's just like I'll buy the special packs where it has like the figurines or like the jumbo cards or promotional cards that I really like the artwork on, and I literally just have like a little floating frame
Yeah,
collage
Wait,
above my closet for them.
right now we use Pokemon cards as rewards for when our kid does his chores. So
but
that's where I'm at with Pokemon cards right now. So we have a big stack in the cupboard
yeah,
for
Dev. That's effectively my thought on it. Is if I'm buying it, I'm not buying it to actually play or even contemplate playing. It's effectively going, oh, I wouldn't mind having that art.
I
Yeah.
might try to have at least some semblance of a deck together when conventions start again, just to have on hand in case I see somebody in the tabletop room with it. I might give
Are you
that a
gonna have that
shot.
hip? Are you gonna have a hip pouch card thing so you can walk around with it?
Oh, hell no.
You can have the little hip. You can have
I won't even have a playmat.
you can have the little hip pouch. You can draw the little Tamer's D on it.
Well, at that point, I might as well just get the whole
Yes.
Yu-Gi-Oh arm thing.
Just cosplay Rookie.
Yep, there you go.
Okay, and then another one of
Every
those.
time I draw a card, I'm gonna go through Rookie / motions.
Yeah, and then this next one I shortened because someone was very angry about this. Pegasusmon is the encyclopedia entry next week. Do we think Koshiro will ask what it means that Patamon has two evolutions? I don't think I don't think it really
It
matters, to be honest.
he won't have anything. He won't say anything useful. Let's put it that way.
Well,
I
he
feel
doesn't.
like
He
Kabuterimon will say, like, why can't I have two evolutions?
but he doesn't say anything. He gives level, a couple attacks, and then he gives a wacky fact that means nothing.
Yeah.
It's not like an actual encyclopedia. It is giving basic information, then making a joke to finish off the show.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing as Cross Wars and Atmon did.
Yeah. Although Crosswords played the damn noise also.
I'm not saying which one was better. I'm saying it's the same concept.
Yes.
Hunters had the best ones.
And then that's going to be the quote that we put on AR's grave. Hunters
Hunters has the best.
The best dot.
This series has made me have a new appreciation for Hunters, I'm sad to say.
And then someone wants to know, I was wondering, what is a show you've dropped because you didn't like it?
Ayurioshi. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. I bought two DVDs and never touched the series again. We talked about this last week.
I assume you watched season 1 and then you started season 2 and went, wow, I didn't like it before, now it's shit.
Nope. Till like 8 episodes, I'm like, nope, this is crap.
But again, we can't keep answering with stuff from last week.
No, I do have another one that I've dropped fairly recently because I didn't like it was actually the new Voltron series. I got through.
You stole my fucking answer.
Oh really?
Yes.
Seriously. I think I got through season 2 of Voltron, so that one I actually did put in a commitment, and I got through season 2. I'm like, this just doesn't punch hard enough for me to really keep following.
It's not good. It's really not interested in Voltron, and it very much is more interested in baiting fans. To be honest, it's just
it's like boring. I'm even okay with focusing on character. Like that's why I watch most stuff, and it didn't even do that particularly well for me.
They went a little too hard on kill your gaze.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
I
that
see,
was even towards the they didn't even
yeah.
get to the kill your gaze part until after I dropped it.
No, same here. I was gone somewhere in 3. I watched season 1 and I watched it at the same time as a friend. We both went, "Yeah, this isn't very good, but maybe they'll amp it up." Then season 2, I watched. I'm like, "Still not very good." Friend dropped it. Then a few episodes of the season, I'm like, "I don't know. I don't like this. Why am I still watching it? I have other stuff I can do. If it gets
I
good, I
got
can
to
always catch
season
up."
5, and then it's like, why did you do this to me?
It's not a good show. It
Yeah, I mean,
I,
I guess that the kill your gaze is the reason I haven't even considered going back and watching it again, like, and
You're
trying to
better
pick
off
it
with
back
just
up.
like
no,
I
watching
cut
something else.
I cut bait at the right time. Okay.
I still remember when they put up old episodes of Voltron on Netflix with intros from the people who worked on the new show, and one of them was like, "Yeah, Princess Allura doesn't really do anything in the old show, but in the new show, she's great." It's like she did tons in the old show. That's why people liked her. Was she actually was as
She was
interesting as anyone else was?
yeah.
It's like they didn't watch the. They very much are not interested in Voltron in the new show, and I don't mean just the robot. I mean like if you watch the old show and the new one, it's like, yeah, they really aren't interested in anything people liked about the franchise at all. It's a show that happens to have Voltron in it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which again I'd be fine with because, you know, I'm not a huge mecha person, but like even the parts that even the character elements of it didn't really interest me all that much.
my brain's thinking of other shows to pick. Okay, I have a good one. All of the DC Universe TV stuff. Not out of not liking it, it just it felt more like I was watching out of, oh, need to keep up on everything and have to watch all of them, make sure it's a specific order in case there's crossovers, and
It's
it's
like if
like
something becomes a chore to watch.
exactly. It's like I like the shows, but also the shows didn't get more interesting. At some point, it felt like I was spinning my wheels to watch them. It's like I can just watch the neat crossovers when they happen and not worry about it. It's like, okay, I watched Crisis on Infinite Earths, watched the finale of Arrow, and like, yeah, and yeah, and then I haven't watched anything since. That was a year and a half ago, I guess, was the last time I watched any of them, which was that stuff, and went, yeah. Dev, what have you
I'm trying to
dropped?
think of his. Well, aside from like Voltron, trying to like, because for the most part, I don't really have
Look at
time
Steve.
to watch that much. So it's
Love
like
the
usually I do some vague research or looking into it before I start watching to see if it's something I would like.
Yeah.
Um, Probably anything I found out that's like really depressing when I started watching it.
I know the show
Like
for
one
you,
of my friends
Dev.
was
oh,
starting me to watch Clan Ad, and it's like, oh no, no.
that was me with Gunslinger Girl. Everyone like recommended Gunslinger Girl to me so hard. I watched the first episode. I'm like, nope, this is too depressing for me.
Go watch
Can't
the
do it.
TV show of Galaxy Express 999 and see how depressing that is.
Uh, See, I really liked the movie, so I'm tempted to give that a
Oh no,
try. Like that's just
the
sort
TV
of
show's great, but it is depressing.
I don't know, but that depressing aesthetic, that Matsumoto depressing hits on a different
Yeah,
level though. So that I could probably get into.
yeah. But yeah, it worked really well. This is the last chance for anyone in the chat if they want to try throwing any questions before we call it. So, but yeah, 999 TV show is basically great from beginning to end, but it's super depressing. And of course,
I mean,
I watched it in a way you're not really supposed to. I basically power marathoned it
oh,
because
okay.
I was working on it.
Yeah. I mean, because I like the movie's super depressing too. I mean, it's very melancholic. I'll put it that
Yes.
way.
Yeah.
But no, I was
You know
totally
something
into it.
that's
Like that
depressing
was
that you might like? Aquia.
That's the boat girl thing, right?
Mm,
The Venice thing. Like Space Venice. Is
bleh.
that the one? Or am I thinking of an entirely different show?
Different one. This one's like fantasy races where there's one race that doesn't age and then they get like attacked and one of them picks up a little kid and then it's like going through like the baby that she adopts life cycle, and it's just like, it's like,
Okay, that's not
yeah,
the one I
getting over
thought
the
it
fact
was.
that everyone you love will die horribly before you.
Yeah, I already watched that show when it starred Adrian Paul. That is the Highlander TV show.
I mean, yeah, pretty much like that, except slightly less cutting off people's heads.
Does it have Queen in it? I'll take that as
No,
silence as
I wish it did.
yeah.
And you can't. That's not a fair question to ask because everything would be better with Queen in it.
Yes. I don't think we can top Highlander joking Queen. AR, where can they find you? Do you have anything fun coming up?
Digimon.firstagent.net is my blog. I've got a few Tumblr questions that I'm probably going to get to this week that could be interesting. Somebody asked about comparing V-Tamer Taichi to Reboot Taichi, so I feel like there's an essay in that. So that might be something to look forward to this week.
I look forward to hearing you sigh when you try to deal with that.
It'll be a very long-worded sigh, yeah.
Yeah. And I believe we're gonna be recording on Sunday because you have your refereeing next Monday, don't you?
I believe so. I like that you said refereeing because that sounds a lot cooler than running the scoreboard and doing public
Oh,
address.
I thought you were like refereeing it.
No,
So
no.
you're
I
assisting with
also thought you
stuff.
did.
I run scoreboard and do PA, so like announcing and all that
Okay,
crap.
maybe you said announcer and I somehow took that and we took that as referee.
I mean, I work with the referees. We snark at the teams a lot.
Okay, so theoretically the next episode will be Sunday, but that could easily change very quickly.
Yeah, we could be back to Monday in a heartbeat.
In the age of COVID, everything changes.
We were supposed to have three
Yeah.
episodes moved to Sunday, and we're down to one in this month.
Yeah. Dev, which Wikimon article do you want everyone to read this week?
You remember my suggestion?
We all made
True, but
suggestions.
let's go with the Kenji Watanabe article because, they've done some work on it recently, and there's lots of fun artwork in other projects that, he's worked on, like Legends and Magical Witches and,
And
some of his own personal stuff.
And
dunking
he's
on
great
the
on
Wikimon
yeah,
Twitter.
and he's a great follow on Twitter.
We were talking about that before recording, how he dunked on the Wikimon Twitter when they made a mistake. I'm glad you chose it based on that, Dev. You're evil,
It was my
Yeah.
suggestion.
Yeah, but she's the one who went, yep, I'm going to
Yep.
go with that to give them the ability to comment on the dunking having happened. Because she knows both of us well enough that we were going to bring it up.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, we were probably going to bring it up either way.
No, I would not bring it up because it sounds mean if one of us just brings it up for no reason. If Dev specifically does something that she knows we're going to burst out laughing, we kind of have to explain why.
Like we don't
reason.
have the capacity to be mean on the show.
Oh, no, we do, but we try not to be needlessly mean. Except maybe
Or
AR.
needfully mean.
Except maybe me saying I dropped the show that you recommended.
No, not that. Not that. The time when you accidentally insulted a nondescript audience member accidentally, and they were mad about it on Twitter, and your response to me was, "Yeah, I can live with that."
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. It's been a fun one this time, I think.
It is more enjoyable when the episodes are better.
Yeah, because yeah. Do we have anything else to talk about? I shall take that as a no. Go read the Kenji Watanabe article, everyone. We will be here Sunday or Monday, not both. We will figure it out and let you know. We will catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.